This is Dr. Ruben Chen, and welcome to the Vital Signs Podcast.
Hello, hi. This is Dr. Ruben Chen, and welcome to another Vital Signs Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. But before we get started, I do wanted to have a shout out to Sunrider International. They are helping us put these podcasts together, and they're awesome. They are the number one herbal health food manufacturer in the world. We're privately owned and create some amazing products, everything from protein shakes to teas to even household products like household detergents with herbal ingredients and herbal toothpaste. So it's pretty awesome. So anything you can need and use, they definitely have it with all natural ingredients that are concentrated and that make sure that they are effective and safe for the entire family to use. If you want to know more about it, you can check them out at www.sunrider.com. Or if you do know an independent business owner at Sunrider, you can talk with them as well, and they can help you learn more about Sunrider. Okay, so we have a unique guest here. His name is Ash Crawford, and he has some connections with Sunrider in the past, but I'm going to let Ash, why don't you sort of give a little introduction to yourself, who you are, and how you are connected with Sunrider.
Absolutely. Well, Ruben, first off, thank you for having me on the Vital Signs podcast. I've been listening along for the last couple of months and really enjoy the guests and sort of the wide-ranging conversations that you have based in wellness and health and overall holistic well-being, I should say. So thank you for having me on.
Yeah. So
a little bit about me, I guess, and maybe why you've chosen to have me on as a guest, and hopefully people find this a little bit interesting. I think that I have a really unique journey with Sunrider, the company, that ties really closely with my own philosophy and outlook on life as a balance of a multitude of things, as health and wellness being at the core of that. I was introduced to Sunrider from birth, actually. I grew up in Australia, in Sydney, and both of my parents were master directors and independent business owners of Sunrider in the mid to late 80s, and then in through the 90s. So super early stages, I believe, for Sunrider, and very early stages for me myself.
That's right.
So that was sort of my introduction to Sunrider and the world. It was my parents' full-time job, and more than that, it was their passion and life's work for sharing products that did good things and was bringing a lot of value. So I had my first introduction was actually New Plus mixed with a little bit of water.
Okay. Yes.
As my baby food alternative.
Now, my kids actually eat a lot. My son, I think it's his excuse, so he doesn't need to go to bed. But at night, he's always going to say like, I want New Plus. So we let him stay up so he can have a little bit of New Plus, because everybody wants their kids to be eating good things. And if it's the last thing he eats before he goes to bed, that's a good thing. But I think now he uses it as an excuse to stay up and hang out with mom and dad. But
all right.
Yeah. So that was, it sounded like, so Sunrider sort of gave you a little glimpse into the health food industry and being healthy. And then you've had like a very interesting career in just health and fitness in general. I think you played like professional golfer as well at one time, but can you sort of go through like sort of how your health journey went through to where it is now?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I've got an interesting journey, as much do we all, with our relationship with food and health. And like I said, I spent the first good 10 years with my parents' influence and eating very, very healthy. And I had a lot of allergies, and food aversions and allergic reactions to a whole multitude of things, sugar, dairy, gluten, interesting, like nuts or bananas. So I had a very, very plain diet of sort of some lean meats and a lot of veggies and a lot of just real foods. And then I went into my teenage years and my body got a little bit stronger and it was able to handle more of these mainstream conventional foods that aren't traditionally as good for you. And so I sort of attacked them with vigor and enjoyed all of these things that I shouldn't have been eating because it was detrimental to my health and I would have reactions to it. So that was my teenage years. And I think that hopefully this can relate to some people where my parents were guiding me on this path. And now looking back, I bless them for them and the start that I had with it. But I had to discover what health and wellness meant for myself. And I had a few close friends and we sort of went on a bit of a journey with, we started doing some weightlifting and getting more into competitive sports and performance and how food and recovery and how we treat ourselves and our body really affected results. I was playing a lot of golf at the time. I had just been recruited to come to a university in America. And I wanted to know what I was putting in and what it was made of and what effect it had on me. And it was really, really funny because I'd call my mom up in Australia and I'd be like, hey, Mom, did you know about these ingredients that are in shampoos and the negative effects they can have on your skin? Or I would say, hey, like I started making my own kombucha or I was sprouting nuts. And she would sort of roll her eyes and give me a smile through the phone and be like, yes, sweetie, that's what we were telling you. So I slowly came to those realizations myself and I sort of felt bad for a little while because I remember we used to spend so many hours at the grocery store and my mom would read every label and it would take so long. And I was like, there's not that many options in Australia. There's a couple of each thing. And I was just like, we just get one. Let's go. And it wasn't until about 15 years later, I realized that she was reading the nutritional facts and the list of ingredients on all of the foods to make sure that there weren't any like bads in there, or it was just real good food for us and our family.
Smart mom.
Yeah. And it was like one of those moments. And I think that I had to give her a call and I had to like call myself out and just say, hey, like, thank you. And I should probably give her a call after this and say thanks again. Because it really set me up well through the growth stages of you're growing for the first quarter century, but really through my early teenage years when I was developing, I had a very, very good diet. And I think that set me up in terms of just how my body performed or how in tune it was. And I think that I'm really, really grateful for that.
I like it. I like how you talk about it as a food journey. I think that a lot of people, they want to know the answer, right? And
right.
Like what is the perfect diet for this or for that? But it is a journey, and it's actually, and I like how you were talking about it. It's an individual journey because everybody's body is going to be different. Some people react to foods differently because we're all unique people. Some people deal really well with certain types of proteins. Some people deal really well with certain types of vegetables, and some people don't. So I think it is a journey. I wish that people could, just like everybody is an individual person, our bodies react to foods individually as well. And it is a journey that we all have to sort of take personally.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And I think it's ongoing, no matter what sort of facet you look at in life, whether it's the food we eat or the exercise that we do. For, like you said, each individual's body sort of reacts in different ways to different types of stimuli. So yoga works for some people, Pilates works for others, and weight training is really, really great for others. And so I think that I'm still in that journey. I'm just in my early 30s now, and I feel like I'm always discovering something else. And I feel like it's just adding to sort of the knowledge book of life. And I was like, oh, that works for me. That doesn't work for me. And
what's something that's cool that you discovered recently then?
Interest in terms of like body and wellness. And I discovered the ketogenic diet about 5 years ago. Yeah. And was very, very skeptical. And I'd been weight training and golfing and through all the traditional weightlifting things and following macros and a lot of carbohydrates, and yes, good carbohydrates, so to speak, and sweet potatoes and oats and things like that. So it sort of went against what I was familiar with. And for those people listening, the ketogenic diet is a very fat heavy based diet. About 80 to 90% of your caloric intake for the day comes from fats. And then there's a small amount of protein, and then a very small amount of carbohydrates, usually around 30 net carbs per day. So it's basically a flip of most people's Western diet, and
which is mostly a very carb heavy type of thing. So yeah,
carb heavy and very simple carbohydrates.
Yeah, simple sugars. That's not good. Processed.
And so what really appealed to me, I mean, my brother and now business partner, he was a professional cyclist and had dabbled with a ketogenic diet and playing around with performance and food. And so we both sort of dove in and did quite a lot of learning and self-discovery. And I've been now eating a keto diet about 5 years, with some short breaks here and there. I think everything's about balance and fits your work, life, social balance. And for me personally, I just feel my best self when I'm eating a lot of good healthy fats like coconut oil and avocados and a lot of greens. I noticed with the keto diet, I was eating far more green vegetables than I ever had. And it also, by the nature of the diet's structure, you really have very little sugars, whether natural occurring or not. They're sort of out for the diet. So my fruit intake is very, very low, except for some low glycemic index berries. But my sugar intake went from about 60 grams per day down to less than 10.
Wow, that's a big drop.
And so,
how did you feel with that? Sometimes people don't deal very well with that kind of a sugar drop.
Oh, I feel amazing. It's very, very level. So there's no spikes in insulin, and I have really, really high energy levels and cognitive function. And the inverse effect of that, or sort of a positive side effect, is my sleep has been much more restful. My skin has been a lot clearer. And just the stable energy levels has been fantastic. And I feel like I operate at my best self, and I don't preach keto for everybody, but I preach people trying different things out and giving them a chance and seeing what works for them.
Yeah. Everybody's got to go through the journey themselves. I know that, I like a good example for me is that I know that a lot of people do like intermittent fasting as also as a really key way to influence the body and really create certain types of proteins in the body to help preserve it and keep it young. It's very, and I did intermittent fasting for a bit, but the funny thing is that I didn't feel as good as when I was eating multiple small meals a day. Now I know that it's very much me, but when I maintained small meals throughout the day, I actually ended up losing weight faster, even though I was consuming more calories, which is very odd, but my wife did not like it. So I had to, I was eating like something like 6 meals a day, and I felt great. I had all this energy, but she hated eating. She hated eating so much. She felt very different. And she does very much a lot better with an intermittent fasting diet than I do. So it's interesting how people's bodies react differently to different diets. But I do, my diet personally probably leans maybe more towards a keto diet as well. So, but everybody does definitely need to try different things. Everybody's a little bit different. Like my daughter, she probably leans a little bit more like closer to a vegetarian, like maybe like a pescatarian type of a diet. And she seems to do well with that. So everybody is different, but it is a journey. And I think one of the underlying things that you mentioned is that sort of like a clean diet, right? Minimizing those processed foods. That's probably a minimum.
Yeah, I think that no matter what sort of fuel you're putting into your body, if you can get in the mindset that you are fueling your body for performance and for function and energy, no matter what you're doing, whether you're parenting or you're working your jobs or you're an athlete, it's what goes in fuels what you do. So I think it's really important to look at what those things are. And the human body is also an incredibly powerful machine that can handle a lot of stress externally and internally and recover from it. So one of the takeaways, and I'm really grateful to learn early on, is that this is a long life journey. And I want to be around for hopefully my kids and grandkids and be active and mobile and cognitive. And so I want to do all the things I can for as long as I can. And that said, that if you haven't been focusing on your diet of what you've been putting in, your body is incredible. And in a short period of time of sort of turning it around or increasing the quality of foods you're putting in, your body can really, really turn around in a quick time and be like, hey, yeah, like I was looking for this nutrients or I was missing this. And so that's sort of the exciting part, that when I have conversations with people about they're looking to make a change in energy, or I work with a lot of people who are wanting to lose weight or gain muscle and either for aesthetic purposes or just for functionality in life.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned something that's interesting, that I always get also like, I just want to do a cleanse, right? I just want to do it and a couple of days and I'll be good and get on the diet as soon as I do that cleanse. But you're talking about this is more of a lifestyle change, right?
Absolutely. I think that people have a lifestyle, and whether you acknowledge it or not, you live your life in a certain way with certain beliefs. And I think that, again, that I'm grateful for is I'm open to different ways of looking at things or being open to changing my lifestyle if it benefits me, basically, or my family or close friends. It's like I'm looking for those things to improve my lifestyle or add to it. Whether it's a small way to be more efficient in my business and use a new tool to save money and ultimately save time, which is much more important. Or if it's a big change of me, like, hey, look, I've done a lot of reading about high fructose corn syrup, and I don't really want to have that in my lifestyle. And I don't want to participate in that as much as I can avoid it, which might be a bigger switch for somebody who is drinking a lot of soda every day. But so I think it's the curiosity to be open to changing your lifestyle or improving it.
So beyond just health and fitness, so what kind of things are you doing right now with your life?
So right now, I feel like I've lived quite a few lifetimes, and
you've lived in a lot of different places. So just give a little like summary of the places that you've lived.
Yeah. So I grew up in Sydney, Australia. My father is from London, and my mother is from Los Angeles. And they happened to be living and married in Sydney, Australia, and had me. And I feel at home, and I'm an Australian, an American, and a Brit. So I've I've spent quite a lot of time in all of these places, and we bounced around a little bit in Australia. I spent most of my high school time in a beach town called Byron Bay, and it's sort of a beautiful scenic spot on the east coast of Australia. I then was recruited and played Division I college golf in Texas.
I'm in Texas. That's awesome.
Yeah. I went to North Texas.
Okay.
I was up in Denton for a few years.
All right. I know exactly where that is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are you based?
Well, I'm in Dallas, in South Lake, right south of like Grapevine Lake. So, yeah.
Are they the Dragons?
Yes. Oh, you totally know that. That's awesome.
I know the Dodge family. Yeah. I went to a couple of high school football games there, and I got thrown right into the whole Texas experience.
Yeah, definitely, it is its own experience. That whole Friday Night Lights thing. It's definitely Texas for sure.
It was a great time, and I was there in my early 20s, and I ended up going over to business school in Connecticut, and I have a half brother who spent his life up in Massachusetts in the Northeast here. And it was a good opportunity to be closer to him. He had a small family business of cafes and coffee shops. So I worked with him a little bit throughout business school, and then was sort of all done playing golf. I played a few professional events and was really grateful for that time in my life, but ready to move on to something different. So I moved out to Los Angeles, sort of on a whim, and I have my godfather lives out there in Malibu. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go crash on his couch and see what Los Angeles has to offer. And spent about 4 years there in the entertainment industry, working in production of events, as well as in film and commercials. And I also then sort of went in front of the camera, fell into modeling and acting myself, and really just wanted to get to know every facet of it. I was working in casting a little bit. I managed a high-end restaurant in West Hollywood for a little while.
Wow.
And I was in a good rhythm there. And my brother out on the East Coast, him and his wife had their first daughter. And he asked me to come back to the East Coast and run the family business. At the time, he had 6 cafes, sort of spread around Boston and the greater area, and to be an uncle. And while it was a tricky decision, it was a no-brainer. And I sort of dropped everything and moved out to Massachusetts about 4 years ago.
So that's where you are at right now?
So that's where I am now. And the last 4 years has been a bit of a whirlwind. We decided that we didn't want to expand the retail footprint. My brother Mukunda and his wife had their second daughter. And so we sort of downsized retail operations. And in the same sort of breath of that, I'd always wanted to start a direct-to-consumer brand that was based in convenience, but also not sacrificing quality or taste. And being somebody who was always multitasking so many things, I just didn't enjoy any of the grab and go options. They were filled with sugar or other additives and preservatives, or just didn't taste good. And so it was sort of a great opportunity. My brother and I had always worked really well together, and we've got a great balance. He has experience and an incredible taste and palate and vision for R&D. And I really like marketing, branding, networking, and telling the story. And so we work really well hand in hand. And I was like, let's take this opportunity to create something that we're really passionate about. And we created what I like to call a lifestyle company called Quiver. And our first, our leading product is Nitro Cold Brew coffee and teas. We've expanded a little bit since then in the last couple of years, but we wanted to fill that niche, like I said, that was a really convenient but high quality option. And that's what we did.
That's really cool. And one of the things that I noticed, and you said that you were really into marketing and networking and telling the story. clearly that was influenced by your time in LA. So, right. I mean, in the industry, it's sort of hard to avoid those type of people, the creative people, those like driving to get that story out there. That's sort of an interesting thing. So what drove you to decide to start your own business? I mean, that's not for everybody, but that is definitely something. It sounds like you are a driven person. You, which is really cool. At your age, you've lived in all kinds of places. Sounds like you've started like multiple careers, and now you are starting your own business. How did that come about in your own psyche that you're like, you know what, I'm sort of doing my own path, and this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah, I think it's like with many things, you sort of fall into the cross section of passion and opportunity. And like you said, I'm very excited about health and wellness, and I do a lot of physical activity, and I do. I've got a YouTube channel where I do a lot of fitness Tabatas. So I was really passionate about that, and I think I had dabbled in enough different things that I didn't want to work for somebody else necessarily. I wanted to have control and do my own thing. And so the cross section was the experience of my brother and sort of our network that we had here through retail, coffee and tea, and his expertise on roasting coffee and also being able to source through our supply chain and things like that. And then we had an opportunity where we had a bit of time. We had downsized the retail, and I was like, let's go for it. Let's create a lifestyle that fits us. I was really excited about making things that we wanted for our family and friends. And I've heard this a lot on a number of podcasts, that's where all good ideas start. And I was like, hey, like, look, we've got this hole in the market of things that we want. Like, let's make it, and let's see if others are interested. And it's not easy. And I think that's the exciting part. And I remember we sat down and we looked at each other, Mukunda and I, and we said, look, we fingers crossed, and hopefully we get to work for a long time. And we've got another 50 years ahead of us of doing something every day. And we're like, let's do that together. We want to spend time together. Mm-hmm. And then what do we want to do with that time? Well, we want to create things and bring things into the world that we think add value to people's lives. And we do it in a way that is respectful of the environment and our planet. And then also, like, can we solve interesting problems? Because I think that's really, really, really important for growth. And it was an opportunity for Mukunda to step outside his comfort zone on managing and running retail, and an opportunity for us to learn how to start a direct-to-consumer company and all of the hurdles and challenges that go with it. Either we're going to come across opportunities or hurdles that other people have faced. So there is a blueprint or a footpath for that, or we're going to come up across things that have never been done before. And how exciting is that if we get to be the ones to forge the path in whatever little niche we're working with?
Yeah, being an entrepreneur definitely has that sort of a very a pioneer sense that part of the excitement is treading on ground that you feel like is like undiscovered ground. And I like how you wanted to combine your own personal passion with something that you felt was a need to improve society, or at least add some kind of value to people around you. So there's a little bit of that passion. You want to make some money, but also you want to add in a service component, which I think those combine into something that's usually works well, especially with business, because people want to see the passion. They want to know that you're excited, right, and they want to get something out of it at the same time. If I'm going to join you in that journey, I want to know that it's going to benefit me, but also that you like it. So that's actually really cool to see your passion in it. And obviously you have like a lifetime of health and wellness journey and definitely an interesting story of how you went from Australia all the way out to Massachusetts, which is that's a pretty cool experience by itself. Probably write a book on that.
I know. I write chapters from time to time. So
oh, really?
Maybe I'll have a sabbatical at some point in my life in a cabin where I piece them all together.
Yeah. So as you are, and you also mentioned it wasn't easy. So what is not easy about starting a business from zero?
I think that acquiring fans of the products and the way that you do things just takes time. I really believe that somebody needs to have trust with a brand and a rapport with them, and that we've got to work every day to build up those two things, which basically I believe equals attraction. So trust plus rapport equals attraction. So we work really, really hard to deliver on the promises we make and to build that trust. And then it's just the rapport is time, and it just takes time. One of the other hurdles is obviously producing something at as you know, with your work life experiences, is producing something that's of a really high quality.
Yeah.
It doesn't make business sense all the time, because if it costs so much to produce a product and then get it into the hands of somebody, it doesn't work. And so that's why I think that a lot of companies take that easy, quick road straight to the bottom in terms of quality of ingredients.
Yeah.
And so our major goal at Quiver, especially in these early stages, is can we keep going? Mm-hmm. Can we produce the products that we really love and believe in at the quality we want and deliver on that? And can we keep it alive and going long enough that we can and build a little bit of a community around like-minded people who are interested in that? So that's the challenge we're in at the moment.
Yeah, that's from experience, that's a tough one. but the passion about quality, I know, because Sunrider is all about quality, and we make our own products and stuff, and we're always talking about that. But I definitely commend you for that, especially with coffee. I do know a few coffee manufacturers, and I know people who make like things like Starbucks. And I do know the distributor for Starbucks, and he says that he would not consume his own product because he knows where it is sourced from, which is uncomfortable to know that. Yeah. So the fact that you are pursuing quality, I mean, for me, obviously you are your own best brand. If I don't consume the Sunrider products, and how am I going to expect some stranger to do it? So the fact that you and your brother have such an intimate knowledge of it, and you're obviously fans of your own product, that definitely that's a big part of sharing and selling the product as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you really hit the nail on the head with, which makes me think of a really interesting story about where we came to. And it's like, you can probably see, I've got a couple of our nitro cans there, but we actually make America's only decaf nitro cold brew. And it's also incredible. And it was almost by mistake. We'd really planned to start with a nitro cold brew coffee. My brother and I drink a lot of coffee, and we wanted a super awesome one. And the nitro teas we have are also really, really unique. But like I said, my brother's wife was nursing at the time when we were doing our first few production runs. And she said, "Hey, I love coffee. I've been drinking it for years, but can you make me a decaf one while I'm nursing?" And we're like, "Oh, nobody wants to drink decaf." And she was like, "Well, I do." And we're like, "Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. We're going to make some decaf cold brew." And it turned out amazing. And we looked at each other and we were like, well, if Kylie wants this, then I think that there might be other nursing mothers around the country that also miss coffee, or people who are trying to reduce their caffeine intake or reset their adrenals, or just, hey, want to have a coffee at 3 p.m. and go to bed. So it turned out it's our number one selling product, and we are
that
definitely
the surprise to me too.
we are the answer now. So if you search decaf cold brew on the internet, we are the answer, and it's so wonderful. We get the majority of our thank you notes or emails are, hey, I've been looking for years for a decaf cold brew option, and thank you for making it. And that alone is enough spark for me to keep going with this. And like I said, we've got a range. We've got some body scrubs. We've got some tea sachets. But it's those little thank yous that come as a surprise, but also just fill my heart. It's so good.
Yeah, it's because it's your own. It's almost like it's the company that you represent is sort of like your baby, and you can see it growing up and doing things and helping people. That is, it's an amazing feeling for sure. And as your company continues to grow, that's probably the best part of business. This type of business, right. The kind that you can serve people and improve their lives, is when their lives actually get improved, and you feel like, you obviously didn't improve their life 100%, did all this,
right.
But just even that little bit that you can play into that person's life, it's a pretty awesome feeling.
Yeah. And I completely agree. And so grateful. And like you said, we live and breathe the products. It really fits into our lifestyle. My brother has two young daughters now, and still a couple of small businesses. And I've got my fitness stuff that I have going on, and I have my own brand and family. So it's like we make these products because it fits into our life. And yes, I am the face of the brand at the moment because it's just us. And so I'm daily drinking product, and I go do my workouts, and I'm like, hey, like we should film this. I'm gonna drink this, and I'm gonna body scrub to exfoliate because I've been sweating all day and working hard, and I just want to reset. So as long as we can keep bringing some things into the world, and we've got some really cool things coming down the line in the fall, again, hopefully to fill a couple of niche holes that we've found in our lives, and hopefully other people will enjoy them too.
Awesome. Well, how do people, if they want to know more about you, because I know you've got a YouTube channel and you've got a TikTok as well, but how can people find you?
Best way to find me is probably ashcrawford.com. It has sort of all my links to all my social things there, as well as the various interests I have. I'm Ash R. Crawford on all socials. Mm-hmm. And if you want to know more about Quiver, it's QUIVR, drinkquiver.com. I think that you can just pop us into Google and you'll be able to find us there, and say hello. If you've seen this and you order or you reach out, say hello, and I'm sure I'll see it.
Awesome. Yeah. And I love hearing stories about new entrepreneurs and the passion and the excitement that they have to develop a business, because, especially today, running a business isn't an easy thing. So really in the beginning, it's just passion that's pushing it forward. So this is an awesome story. I hope to circle back to you later on and just sort of see how things are going with you and your business with Quiver, and see it get really popular and grow. But also, for those of you who don't know, he also liked the way we connected. It was that you liked us for some of our Sunrider products. And this is how, such an interesting circle of life. And then we found out that your parents had been Sunrider distributors in the past. And that's a small world for sure.
Yeah, it was a full circle. Honestly, I hadn't thought about Sunrider in a long time. And I was looking for, actually my favorite product is the Sunbreeze oil.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the use after use case for it, where I was like, I wish I just had some Sunbreeze, because I used to just get it from my father in Australia. And so I circled back and I checked in on Sunrider, And so I got a bunch of the products, my old favorites. And you'll like this, Ruben. My puppy growing up that I got when I was 4 years old, an Australian cattle dog and crossed with a Labrador. Her name was Callie.
Oh, yeah.
after the Cali tea that Sunrider made, because we loved it so much, and it was just a very fitting name. And I had Cali until I was about 19 years old.
Oh, wow. So puppy's whole life. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just remembered that. So yeah, wow. we came full circle, and I've now been having the Sunrider products again in fitting into my lifestyle, and I was so glad that your team connected, and we got to chat, because I think that I met Teifu and Oi Lin. I was probably about this big last time I saw them at one of the conventions. So yeah, I'm really glad we got to reconnect.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully when things calm down, we'll be able to reconnect in person. That would be cool. And invite you out to Texas, where we're building our new manufacturing plant. That's why we're out here. So yeah.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for also liking us and following us. So again, you can find you at ashcrawford.com, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who want to know more about Sunrider, of course, check us out at sunrider.com, and you follow us on either Facebook or Instagram. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for your time.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you
so much, Ruben. See you later.
Bye.